Hello again. My name is Lucas Wilkes. This will be my third presentation. And today, what I'm going to be diving into is the world of learning assessments. Um, so, we're going to start with an introduction to the topic before moving into the specifics of how assessments really do play an important role in education. And the goal with this presentation really is to understand that assessments are more than just a means to grade students. They're really important tools for also enhancing student success. So, constantly throughout the presentation, what I'm going to be talking about and exploring is how assessments inform our teaching practices, support student development, and help align educational goals. So, after doing the reading, firstly, that was what was important is to understand that learning assessments aren't just formalities. They're super important and very integral for student success, and they do three different things. Firstly, they inform our instruction as educators. They guide us in tailoring our instruction to meet the various needs of individual students. After that, it can also support student development by providing ongoing feedback. Assessments help students grow and understand their progress with said feedback. And then they also ensure alignment. So they ensure that our teaching is in sync with our educational goals, making sure that we're on the right path for our student success. So again, remember, assessments, they're more than just tests to give out. What they really need to be used for is to foster a supportive environment where each student's learning journey is valued and advanced. So, what's really important is to think like an assessor. So, in this case, it's really crucial to shift our focus from merely grading. That's what we mainly think about tests being used for. So, mainly shifting focus from grading to truly assessing for learning and understanding. This mindset's about fostering or creating a culture of continuous improvement in education, and then one that also values growth and understanding. So it's important to make assessments value those things. The first key point is adopting what's called an assessor mindset. So, as instructors, we want to think beyond just grading. It means kind of promoting an environment where students are encouraged to grow rather than just kind of aiming for a specific score. After that, understanding our students is essential. Effective assessment requires us to gain deep insights into how students think and reason. And this kind of knowledge allows us really to tailor our instruction to meet their individual needs, which we know leads to better educational outcomes. And then lastly, we'll talk about formative assessments. These are tools we can use throughout the learning process to gather very valuable feedback. They allow us to adjust our teaching strategies in real time and help us really support students as they move towards mastery of a skill. So, by really embracing these three elements, we can create a positive educational environment that truly supports learning and development. All right, so assessment design. When we design assessments, our goal is to kind of create meaningful evaluation tools that truly support student learning. And I want to focus on these three aspects. So, first, creating authentic tasks. So, what does that mean? These involve using real world scenarios that help students connect with what they learn in class to something practical. Um, by doing that, really, we encourage a deeper understanding and enable students to transfer knowledge beyond the classroom. So, using that prior knowledge, it can be very, very beneficial. Um, Next, we have student centered feedback. So it's important to provide pretty timely and constructive feedback to students, letting them be empowered to reflect on their work, identify their strengths, and recognize areas for improvement in their learning goals. Really, in turn, this kind of enhances their overall educational experience and promotes personal growth. And then, lastly, on this list is clear cut criteria. So by creating and establishing specific criteria that is transparent towards students, we create fairness and clarity in these assessments that we give out. So Why is that important? Well, that ensures that students understand what's expected of them and can effectively strive toward their learning objectives. So these strategies not only enrich the learning process, but also align closely with the principles of effective teaching and continuous improvement as a teacher. All right, so diving a little deeper into the reading, I'm going to talk a little bit about how criteria and validity are really important and vital in ensuring quality and fairness in assessments. So, firstly, clear criteria is kind of like a roadmap for educators and students. So they define specific performance standards, helping everyone understand what exactly is expected. This clarity not only aids in achieving learning goals effectively, but also consistently as well. Now, kind of switching to validity here. Validity is more about ensuring that our assessments truly measure what we intend them to do. It aligns very tightly with learning objectives, offering a way to differentiate between the accuracy of results and the consistency of assessments. And then lastly, valid assessment practices are absolutely essential. When we use tools like rubrics or exemplars and performance tasks, we strengthen the validity of our assessments. So this won't only not only leads to improved student motivation, but it really does enhance fairness and creates a more engaging learning environment. And to get a little deeper into valid assessment practices, I'll kind of start with rubrics, like I mentioned before. So rubrics are pretty essential. They're essential tools, really, that provide clear criteria for evaluation. This transparency not only helps students understand what's expected from them, but also ensures consistency in grading practices. Now, to talk about exemplars, switching from rubrics to exemplars, um, these are sort of examples of high quality work that serve as a guide for student work. So, exemplars can help students visualize what success looks like, enabling them to aim for the standards set in their assessments. And lastly, we have performance tasks. So these tasks are designed to engage students in real world scenarios, allowing them to apply prior knowledge. This approach fosters critical thinking and a deeper understanding of material, which is very important for meaningful learning. And each of these practices plays a vital role in ensuring fairness and quality in assessments, which would ultimately enhance the educational experience for students. All right, so I'll be switching over to digital assessment tools. So, digital assessment tools, they've become a really major part of modern education now. Many educators are turning to platforms like, maybe, for example, Kahoot and Google Forms, which I'll actually be talking about a little bit later, to streamline their assessments. These tools not only make the process more efficient, but also more engaging, the learning process more engaging for students. So, some key features of digital assessment tools, really why they're super important. They provide instant feedback from results, okay, which is crucial for keeping students motivated and informed about their progress, okay, and it is instant feedback typically. Additionally, these tools offer data tracking and diverse question types, which help educators gain immediate insight into learning progress and identifying areas needing support amongst who they're teaching. When selecting digital tools, it's important to consider their usability and how well they align with your assessment goals. Accessibility is also a crucial factor to ensure all students can benefit equally. By carefully evaluating these aspects, educators can enhance learning outcomes and tailor their teaching strategies effectively. So, to sort of highlight a little bit of what I said into the past and also continue with some new information spoken, digital assessments are dynamic. They're formative tools. They're meant to be formative. And again, like I mentioned before, they're not just about grading, but also actively engaging students as they're learning. Um, Now, ultimately, by supporting more informed instructional strategies, formative assessments help educators tailor their teaching. Again, it's all about meeting the student's needs, and this is a big way to do that. It'll lead to improved learning outcomes, which really is not only a win for the teacher, but a win for the person who is learning. And just to dive a little bit more into that reinforcing learning aspect, these assessment practices would provide clear expectations, constructive feedback, and what I would say as a teacher is one of the most important parts of learning is reflective understanding. Students being able to reflect on what they have learned is very important on what they retain. All right. So I'm going to focus on one of these tools in just a moment. I kind of put three up here to just briefly talk about them. I've used all three of them as a teacher, and they've really improved my teaching experience and the results that I've seen from my students. So, firstly, is Google Forms. And what I like to do with this is creating customizable surveys that gather instant feedback from students. And it's kind of a great way for me and for anyone really to quickly understand um, what the students need and to be able to adjust your strategies based on that feedback you get from that survey, from the Google form. Then I also have a lot of good experience with Quizlet. I find that it's a pretty user friendly platform offering flashcards to help students study pretty effectively. Quizlet supports a variety of learning styles and can be an invaluable resource for reinforcing knowledge. And lastly, which I'll focus on a little bit more, is finally Kahoot. It's not just another kind of quiz platform, but it's a fun and interactive way to engage your classroom. I use it all the time, and I've found very positive results from it. What I've seen from my students is that they love the friendly competition, and it makes learning a much more enjoyable experience when we do these Kahoots. So now remember, kind of summing up here, these tools really aren't just about assessment. They are a little bit, but they really are about enhancing the learning journey, not only for your students, but for yourself as the instructor as well. All right. So to dive a little more into Kahoot, what it is it kind of transforms traditional assessments into something a little bit more exciting. They become like engaging quizzes. And what this allows them or kind of encourages students to do is to participate more actively through friendly competition, as I mentioned before, which can really enhance their interest in the subject matter that is being taught. It's very fun and super interactive. And it really, just to drive it home here, just making it so fun and as it is so fun and interactive, it makes learning enjoyable for students of all ages. I found success and I've found learning to be very exciting with a few different grade levels that I've taught with Kahoot. Um, it really can transform the classroom atmosphere, which I really love, and motivate students to engage more deeply with the content that they're trying to learn. And so, lastly, Kahoot in action. So it provides a lot of benefits. One of them being that, as I mentioned before, with many tools, but especially with Kahoot, it provides instant and immediate feedback. When students receive these real-time live results, they can immediately understand what they've grasped and what needs more focus. So this kind of instant feedback is super crucial for enhancing overall understanding and retention. Okay? Um, Kahoot also simplifies data tracking. Uh, so teachers can easily access insights into student performance in Kahoots, allowing them to adjust instruction to meet individual needs. Again, this makes teaching more not only informed but also targeted as well. Um, so again, with Kahoot, it's not just about teaching; it's creating a dynamic learning experience, embracing fun and engagement to increase learning goals. Thank you.